I want to tell you a story. It's a personal one, but I have a feeling it's going to sound really familiar to a lot of you. It's a journey from the absolute lowest point of coding burnout to a place of, well, total confidence, all because of a huge shift in how we build things.
Yeah, just keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through this. I bet it will.
Okay, so picture this. It's almost 3 in the morning, 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday to be exact, and I'm trying to implement what should have been a simple user authentication system. You know the drill, right? JWT tokens, password reset, the whole shebang.
I had been glued to my chair for 14 hours straight. My screen was just chaos. We're talking 23 browser tabs open, Stack Overflow, MDN docs, a few different blog tutorials, all of them promising the easy way to do it. My coffee was stone cold, and for 3 solid hours, I was staring at the exact same bug.
And there it is, the enemy. This famously unhelpful, soul-crushing error message. TypeError cannot read property of undefined. 3 hours of my life just evaporated chasing this ghost. Honestly, that night was my breaking point. That whole ordeal, it forced me to step back and really look at what was going on. It wasn't just one bad night, you know? It was a pattern. It was death by 1,000 cuts. So I started tracking my time, and what I found was, well, it was shocking. This number right here changed everything for me. Out of a full 8-hour workday, I was only spending 1.8 hours writing new code, like the creative, problem-solving stuff. Less than a quarter of my day was spent doing the actual job. So where on earth was all that other time going?
Well, here's where. And this right here validates that feeling we all get of being busy all day, but feeling like you got nothing done. Over 2 hours a day just searching online. An hour and a half trying to make sense of documentation that's probably outdated anyway. Another hour and a half just hunting down dumb typos. Almost an hour totally lost just switching between tasks. And yeah, almost 30 minutes just staring, blankly, completely stuck.
And the real cost here wasn't just the wasted time. I was pulling 60-hour weeks and feeling like I'd accomplished absolutely nothing. I was stressed out, I was burned out, and that passion, that love I had for programming, it was just fading away, fast. So I was at my wit's end, and I decided to try something. I was super skeptical, I'll be honest, but I figured, what have I got to lose? I fired up one of those new AI coding assistants and gave it the exact same challenge that had just completely broken me.
Okay, you ready for this? That task, the one that took me 14 hours of pure hair-pulling frustration, took 23 minutes. I'm going to say that again. 14 hours versus 23 minutes. This wasn't just a small improvement. This was a whole new reality.
And here's the real kicker. It wasn't just faster. I mean, my first thought was, okay, but is the code garbage? Nope. The code the AI helped me write was objectively better than mine. My old code had basic security. The AI's had proper hashing plus rate limiting. My input validation was barely there. The AI's was complete. It was just better across the board.
This was the moment it all clicked for me. This thing wasn't just a fancy autocomplete. It was a copilot, and it was going right after the 3 biggest things that were absolutely destroying my productivity and, frankly, my love for the job.
So yeah, it tackled my biggest problems head-on. First, the incredibly slow pace of writing boilerplate code. Second, that endless nightmare of digging through documentation. And third, that deep, dark black hole we call debugging. So now, instead of spending, 45 minutes manually typing out a simple API endpoint, I could just describe what I wanted in plain English, and bam. 30 seconds later, I've got production-ready code. Instead of 23 browser tabs, I could just ask it a question. And that 3-hour bug, the AI spotted it and suggested a fix in under a minute. It was insane.
But here's the most incredible part, the thing I absolutely did not expect. The real magic wasn't just about speed. It was the fact that this AI was actively teaching me things, making me a fundamentally better developer every single time I used it.
See, I wasn't just getting code. I was getting explanations. I was finally understanding why we use bcrypt for passwords instead of MD5. Why you have to validate on both the client and the server. It was showing me the exact patterns that prevent things like SQL injection. It was like having a super patient senior developer sitting next to me 24/7, ready to answer any question I had. So what does this all mean in the long run? Well, this whole shift completely redefined my job. I stopped being just a code typist, someone who just translates ideas into syntax. I was actually becoming an architect,
thinking about the big picture, and solving much more interesting problems.
And the results were just staggering. Look at this. In a matter of months, I went from that guy burning out at 2 in the morning to leading the office at a normal time. My work-life balance was back, and within 8 months, I got promoted. Why? Because I was delivering so much more value, so much faster.
But the best part? It wasn't just about me. As the rest of my team started using these tools, our whole dynamic changed. Our sprint velocity literally doubled. We were shipping twice as much stuff. And code review time? It dropped by 60% because the AI caught all the little nits and mistakes before a human ever had to.
So, if you boil this whole journey down, it's this. This tech didn't just make me type faster, it completely changed my relationship with my job. It turned me from this frustrated, burned-out typist back into a creative, confident problem solver who was actually excited to come to work again.
You know, the big fear out there is that AI is going to replace developers. But my experience, it's the total opposite. It doesn't replace you, it elevates you. It automates away all the tedious, frustrating junk so you can focus on the cool, creative, architectural work. So the real question isn't whether AI will replace you. The question is, what's it going to unleash in you?